Well, welcome back to Bring It Home, where we take the concepts of homeland security and national security and bring it home to you. And today we're talking to Dan Shui from Texas A&M University. Dan, I'm going to have to read your title because it's a long one. Dan Shui is a professor of geography. He holds the Rita Haynes Chair in Geosciences, and he's assistant to the Vice President for Research and Director for Geospatial Information Sciences and Technology at Texas A&M. Did I do that okay?
Yeah, that's about it.
About it, pretty close. Dan's brought some overheads today, as we used to say in the military. He's brought some material from satellites. We're going to talk about how geospatial technology is changing the world. And let's start by looking at some of the material you've brought, Dan. Tell me, this is right out of the news. What's happening right now today in Afghanistan, Baghdad, and so forth, how geospatial technology is changing war?
Yeah, this story reported by the BBC about how some of the insurgents groups in Iraq and also the Hezbollah group in southern Lebanon have used Google Earth to launch attacks on Allied forces.
They're planning rocket attacks and attacks on convoys using Google Earth.
Google Earth to plan their attacks.
This one's very interesting to me because this is an example of using a satellite imagery over time. Now tell us, where is this and what do we learn by looking at this over time?
This is from these three maps are derived from the satellite imagery from July 06 to January 07 to July 07. Documenting the sort of the changes of lights at night in Baghdad. And some political geographers are using this to infer the evening activities, and by inference they want to evaluate to what extent the recent insurgents, the surges of troops in Baghdad has worked.
So we can say whether there's more or less electrical grid and more or less activity in Baghdad.
That's right.
This is a very interesting one that's really significant in the news even today. What are we looking at?
Yeah, this is a suspicious possible nuclear site in Iran, and released by the International Institute for Peace in Washington, D.C., a non-government organization. If you look at the next picture, you know, this is the satellite imagery that released in public, I think in December 2002. That's pretty much 3 months before the U.S.-led invasion of Iraq. And the U.S. government has known this, the possible nuclear site in Iran for about a year, but has pretty much kept it secret.
Didn't tell the rest of the world.
Yes, has kept it secret. But this non-government organization, using their in-house expertise by purchasing this high-resolution Akuna satellites, they were able to obtain the information by themselves, and then through CNN, through the internet, they were able to broadcast this news to the world.
So this is an NGO, a non-governmental organization. It's buying commercial satellite imagery, and then it's doing its own analysis and influencing relations between the U.S. and Iran. Absolutely, and
after this press release, I think it forced the Bush administration to finally admit what sort of information they have obtained, and also it forced the Iranian government to open these two sites for the IAEA and the UN inspectors to go in to check them out.
And they're even matching sites between countries, so they get an idea. This looks like a site built in North Korea, possible transfer of technology.
Yes. Yes.
Now you talked about resolution. What kind of resolution is available today on a commercial satellite?
Right now, you know, that's a major advances in geospatial technology. We can get down to sub-meter level.
Sub-meter?
Yeah, half meter.
Something 18 inches we can see from space, buy for a couple of dollars, and is available to everybody on the commercial market.
Yes. That's the reality we're facing.
Now these are very serious concerns. Here's one I found kind of interesting. Tell me how that kind of resolution really is certain to impact you and me and the rest of the public.
Yes, these photos are downloaded from California Coastal Zone Preservation Project. It was funded by two internet entrepreneurs. What they are trying to do is try to fly consecutively to take high-altitude aerial photographs of the entire California coast, of course, except some of the military installations along the coast. But they didn't realize that one of the the pictures that they are taken happens to cover Barbara Streisand's backyard. As you can see from the photo, that you can see clearly what's going on in Barbara.
And she was having a party.
Yeah, yes.
And she was not happy.
That's right. And then she filed a lawsuit, and after about 15 months legal maneuvering, the one U.S. District Court judge in California ruled that the photo should be retained on the website. So in other words, the judge sided with the project manager, not with Barbara Streisand. And as a result, Streisand had to pay for all the legal
for the court costs.
Court costs.
You know, it sounds funny when we talk about Barbara Streisand's party, but I don't think this was funny for this particular couple, was it?
No, not at all. Because this is another satellite photo shows, the two Dutch couple was doing some sunbathing on the roof of their apartment, but they didn't realize that the following day it was broadcasted on Google Earth, and the whole world see what they're doing on the roof of their apartment.
They're sunbathing naked on the roof of their own house.
Yes.
And they have an image taken from space.
Yes.
That catches them in significant detail. Let me tell you, Dan, that's way more resolution than I really wanted. So it's a little blurred here.
That's right.
But posted for the world to see on Google.
Yes, and by the way, Simpsons had an episode, about this, event.
Well, this one's not funny at all. Tell us quickly about this one, Dan.
Yeah, this is a map from a doctoral dissertation by Sean Gorman at George Mason University about 5 years ago. What he did is in his dissertation, he developed a new algorithm, basically try to pull together all the publicly available information to make an accurate map to show all the fiber optic internet connections of key financial and the military installations in the United States.
So this is not just satellite photography. This is taking all kinds of publicly available information with satellite photography and GIS and pulling it all together. And what he got was essentially a picture of the fiber optic connections that control the world's money supply in New York.
And using his algorithm, you can also make a map of showing all the fiber optics to control the U.S. nuclear facilities. That's when his dissertation got the attention of the FBI and the Homeland Security officials, because it poses a serious threat for national security, and his dissertation is classified after being reviewed.
Dan, we have just about a minute left. Tell us briefly, what along these lines are you doing at Texas A&M? What kind of programs do you have?
Yes, at Texas A&M we have a group of very talented group of faculties and researchers specializing in geospatial information science and technology, and we are not only conducting basic research related to geospatial information science and technology, we are also bringing some of the cutting-edge technologies to many application frontiers, including sustainable development, homeland security, and public health. And we have organized several national symposiums along those lines. I think you're involved in homeland security.
Right. Now, is that at the undergraduate level, graduate level?
Yeah, we have a jointly operated spatial science program at the undergraduate level, but we are in the process to work at the graduate level as well. Hopefully, in the near future, we will offer an interdisciplinary program at the master and the PhD level.
Dan, it's fascinating stuff. It's changing the world. I'm glad that you guys are pulling it together at Texas A&M, but I'm also glad you're keeping an eye on this. You're doing some personal research on privacy areas, aren't you?
Yes. I think that's perhaps one of the most fascinating projects I have worked on recently, trying to look into what are some of the legal and the ethical issues that these new technological advances have made it into our lives.
Thank you, Dan. That's Dr. Dan Shui talking with us on Bring It Home.